Grab the phone?
No, this one. Just put that closer.
Coming to you from the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, with a true political perspective, this is The Stand with your host, Shane Williams, Lance Dobbs, and George Porter.
New studios. I'm your host, Shane Williams, along with George Porter and Lance Dobbs.
Good evening.
I'm Lance.
That's right.
I'm George.
And so, great to be here. Obviously, as you can tell, we posted, we're no longer with KKVV. Our contract has expired, so we're going back to our roots. So me and Lance originally started pretty much with the whole YouTube thing and Facebook. So
yeah, I'm new to this digital form of it, so it's a little bit different and new for me. So
it's just we upgraded a little bit since the first time we started doing this kind of stuff. We kind of got the feel of what KKVV had, and I'm going to probably try to just replicate that as best as we can.
Well, I need to do it better, so hopefully get past KKVV and get onto a better radio station from there. Like we said, getting back to our roots, we've been doing this now for, over a year now. When me and Lance started out of a room, so it was pretty fun. But now, it was fun then, but now we took it to another level, and we want to take it now to a different level. So with that being said, folks, we do need your support now more than ever, since we're no longer with the radio station. And so again, the website's going to be www.thestandshow.com. You can find us on Facebook, obviously. Blast that link out. And we're also on YouTube as well. We're going to get that back up and going. And, again, folks, share our videos, because that's the only way we're going to grow and get the word out to more people other than yourselves. And, that's basically what we're taking the stand for. Humanity, liberty, and freedom. So, and getting information out to everybody.
Well, the most important thing was to make sure that we stay connected with the people that have been following us and listening to us. Regardless of where we are, we're always going to make sure that we find our way back to our audience.
Right, because you are our lifeblood, folks, and right now we need you more than ever, and we thank you so much for your continued support and just being there for us.
It's been a big week. I know a lot of people have been watching news. It's been a really tumultuous week as far as the new administration. I think they're calling it the American Health Care Act now.
Right.
That's came out.
Obamacare Light.
Obamacare Light. That's what I'm calling it, because what I've seen of it, and there's so much going on. It's hard to, like I said, it's hard to keep track. I don't think I like it at this point. I think it would have been better if they'd have just scrapped the whole thing and started over. But keeping portions of it keeps it alive.
Right, exactly. And if you just get rid of it altogether, like says Senator Rand Paul out of Kentucky wants to do with his 2 acts, it is possible. But, you have the rhinos in there, like Paul Ryan, supporting this thing full on. So,
well, it's not even about rhinos anymore. In my opinion, it's Republicans, conservatives. The Republicans have what they want, and conservatives who follow the Constitution and who are basically federalists by nature, they're going to clash. And I think if they had started over from scratch, they would have had a better chance at this battle that they're going to face. And I don't like when the speaker says we're going to do this and we're going to fix this later. We're going to fix phase 2 later. We're going to fix phase 3 later. Just come out with a plan, or just better yet, in my opinion, they should just let it go. Just scrap the whole thing, let it go free market.
Well, that's what Rand Paul wants to do.
If they would just say, buy your insurance from whoever you can get it from, and they will compete, and the prices will drop.
Right, exactly. So, again, we are covering a lot. We're covering Vault 7. We're covering...
So is that what you're going to be talking about?
Right,
Vault
exactly.
7?
Vault 7. Also the sex trafficking that's getting no attention by the media. That Trump is rounding up all these pedophiles.
And George, what are you going to be talking about?
Well, I got some follow-ups from stuff we've talked in the past. We got the fight in Israel with the Palestinians,
right.
Some culture war stuff. I've got an update on Rachel Dosnell, the woman who was the president of the NAACP in Seattle and claimed she was black. It turned out she was white. Got a little follow up on hers. Well, everybody know where she's at now. So it's kind of humorous in a very humorous way. I think I find it's a little bit of karma. So that and just whatever else crosses the wire here or whatever we can find.
Exactly.
And then what I'm going to be talking about is the banks, a little bit about a Glass-Steagall.
We'll when we get into it, break that down for everybody.
Yeah, so the Glass-Steagall, what Trump is trying to do with that, he's trying to bring it back. And then I'm also going to be talking about what the Urban Outfitters CEO has been talking about lately. He had an interview today, so I'll be talking about what went through his press conference.
All right. So again, folks, continue to support us. We don't have a number to call as of right now, but we're going to get all that set up. So you can join us, or like always, you can just join us. Send your comments on Facebook, and we'll be able to
just go ahead and
comment straight from there. So again, to support us, if you're watching us live, send that link out. So share it with your friends right now, and we'll get that out there.
So do you want to tackle the heavy stuff there first, Lance? You got some pretty heavy duty economic stuff, and.
Okay.
And we can get all the depressive stuff out first.
Well, yeah. Well, and the thing is, George, it's not so much being depressed. It's bringing it's bringing all the information to light, and that's the thing that people always think of me when they always talk to me. I was like, oh, this guy's always doom and gloom, and that's not the thing. It's learning about the enemy's tactics and learning what they're doing. Yeah, it's horrible stuff, and and the more that you know about it, the better you can counter it. So. Well,
most people are ignorant of a lot of the things, so they're in their little blissful bubble, and when we tell them things that they may not know about, it can be a little disheartening.
Right, it is.
But the thing is, even though they're learning things they hadn't thought of, everything from are contrails real to black helicopters to the market may tumble, who knows?
Right.
You've got to at least be aware of what could happen, so you can
prepare for the worst.
I'm not a prepper, but I like to be prepared.
Right. Exactly.
Well, you're somewhat prepared. We're all somewhat prepared.
Yes. And you're a fool if you're not.
Right. Exactly. Just type in the website right there for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Lance, tell us about the thing that you brought up. I don't know anything about it, so
Okay.
I'm going to need to be as educated as our audience.
So the Glass-Steagall is I'll just talk a little bit of what happened today. So Trump reconfirmed that he wants to put back the Glass-Steagall. Now that was a law that was a law that was put back in 1933. What it does is it ultimately prevents banks being bailed out by taxpayer money, like they did in 2008.
Right.
So
now, when this does happen, say the economy collapses.
Well, not the economy.
I mean
Say a bank
the
collapses.
bank, right?
Because it takes too many risky loans out and it doesn't have the money to cover its people.
Now, usually it's the smaller banks that do this, right?
No, big banks do it.
Big banks as well. So if a big bank collapses, like say Wells Fargo, what happens then?
So the FDIC, that still will protect $250,000 in your bank account from the government. But if the bank folds, they can take everything else that is yours. Say you have like millions in there, that bank can liquidate your funds, not past $250,000, and then just takes that money.
So it's what I've heard before. It's not a bailout; it's a bail-in.
So
they'll take our money to keep themselves solvent.
So yeah, they'll take your money, and if they can't cover the rest, then that's when the government in 2008 pushed the $1 trillion they needed to stay afloat.
Right, into the banks and
into all
auto manufacturers, right?
Yeah, to the four main banks they pushed $1 trillion into. So just this last year when the bankers had their big meeting, and I think it was in Wisconsin, they were gearing up to ask for $4 trillion to get bailed out again. and that's 4 times the amount that they asked for back in the '08 crash.
That's ridiculous, man.
So
That is crazy.
So yeah, so today when Trump reconfirmed that he wants to do the Glass-Steagall, all the bank stocks just fell,
Right.
and they all went into the red for the year, first time this year.
Even though the stock market's doing phenomenal.
Well, the banks lost a big portion that can't be bailed out by, or if that goes into effect, it can't be bailed out by taxpayer money again, so they won't get that $4 trillion they need.
Wow.
Well, won't this force them to be smarter about their loans?
Yes.
Yeah,
Have
absolutely.
they started being smarter about their loans? Then the ones who weren't smart, won't they go out of business?
Well, that'd be the main banks.
Well, if it doesn't work and if you go bankrupt, sometimes that's what has to happen.
Yeah.
But
I mean, in a market like we have, I mean, I know it'll be disastrous for us.
well, it's because those banks, the 4 major banks, other banks have put money on them to fail. So there was
So somebody hedged and basically said, "I'll bet on the fact that you're probably going to fail."
yeah,
Yep.
and the thing was those
And that's
odds
exactly what they did in 2008.
with the CDOs, they were betting on things to fail, like the AAA, AA, A standard loans package, and when those actually went out, they got the people that put in money against that actually got paid tons of money. So if one of those banks ends up failing and falling, I think like Wells Fargo, they had some comparison on there where there was so much money that was going against them, saying that the Wells Fargo was going to fail. They would pay out everybody else like $53 trillion.
Wow.
So it's like a giant casino.
It is. It's
With
almost,
our money.
Yeah, it's almost racketeering to a certain extent. You
It's
know.
because so like the formula was like how it was explained to me was, say Shane bets on George to fail.
Which is probably a pretty good bet.
So now I'm going to bet on Shane to fail,
Which means I have to succeed.
which means, yeah, so you have to succeed, and he can't fail, or he has to fail, but like,
So you can succeed.
so I can succeed,
Right.
Yeah.
and then someone else could bet on me to fail or succeed.
So it causes a chain reaction.
Right.
At some point, when somebody does the wrong thing, it will just trickle down, and everybody loses their shirt.
That's
Right.
behind that person that falls.
Everybody down at the bottom loses.
So you want to be at the top
Well, yeah, that's
Well,
true.
if you have enough money.
If he dumps out, then you lose or get money or whatever. It became like a complex form of gambling.
I think it
Right.
is.
Exactly.
So, I forget what it was called, but in the 2008 crash, it was they were doing it on CDOs and stuff. So
Right. Exactly. I mean, and a good place to break it down would be that movie, The Big Short. You
yeah, The
know?
Big Short, they explained it pretty well. So that is a Glass-Steagall. So they ultimately can't get bailed out.
So now
by
they
taxpayers.
can't do that anymore.
Not yet. It hasn't been implemented just yet. Trump's just trying to get it into place to where they're not relying on U.S. taxpayers.
That's crazy. Good for Trump, man. Good for Trump.
Well, he is
You know?
definitely shaking things up.
Yeah.
Well, that is
Their systems of power and everything else are just being blown out of the water.
banks are a $1 trillion industry.
With a T.
Trillion. And he's going
I know,
against the trillionaires.
Yeah, yeah. These are the guys who, yeah, there's some serious hard hitters up there, I'm sure. So when their assistants probably make more money than millionaires and billionaires.
Crazy, man.
It
Just,
is, it's
it's
insane.
just really crazy to think about it. So,
And the other thing I want to talk about is a little bit about what I talked about last week with the retail bubble. The Urban Outfitters CEO came out today, and he said the retail bubble has now burst.
there it is.
Just came out plainly
So we
said
were
it.
talking earlier today. You were saying that retail stores in New York are just shutting down blocks at a time, right?
Yeah, they just have in New York. There's just blocks of empty stores of retail because, well, first of all, it had to deal with like the rent. They had a statistic. It was around like $1,700 per square foot for the year on how much the rent was for that property.
Mm.
That same building dropped it down to about $1,100 or $1,060 per square
So
foot.
you're just losing buku bucks, pretty much.
Well, it's because they have nobody in there, so no one's giving them money, so they have to drop their rate
to try to get somebody in there.
to try to get someone in there to pay the rent so they can at least stay afloat. But
just-
that's not happening. So
So let me ask you this then: if the retail market falls, what next?
retail falls, that kills all the malls, because like JCPenney's already started it, Macy's has already started it.
Yeah, didn't JCPenney just close 150 stores or something like that?
15% of their stores.
Yes,
Right.
they closed all their C&D stores, all their low-performing stores a couple of weeks ago or a week ago.
Not all of their C&Ds, but
A large portion of it.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, well, if in this particular case, if the brick and mortar places go out of business, I think it's time to, if you've got stock, shift it over to Amazon.
Yeah,
Because that still looks like the wave of the future.
yeah,
And we
absolutely.
all knew it. I mean, anybody in retail that didn't realize that they were going to take hits from, the internet, being able to order stuff online. I mean, any one of us could order stuff online right now. I mean, it's made it so easy. We did it the other day while we were
And
having
then
a
also
meeting.
be at your
Right.
store. I mean, or be at your doorstep. They'll
Yeah.
just bring it right to you.
Hopefully, pretty soon buy a drone.
Yeah.
That's sort of creepy, but yeah.
I mean, Amazon's already started the 2-hour delivery service.
Yes, it's shocking, and so that is going to damage brick and mortar.
Oh, yeah.
The mall will just you'll have to put skating rings inside malls to keep them afloat.
Look, I'll
Make
tell
it a
you like
social
this.
thing.
So
Me and Lance were in Home Depot the other day. How many people, or Lowe's? How many people do we see in that thing?
I was just in Lowe's today.
Oh, well, how many people did you see?
It's like empty.
Handful, maybe, right?
There's just a couple of people walking around besides workers.
Well, I got a report from somebody who called and told me that a lot of the shelves at the Walmart were empty. So
It's just not a lot of people going
Yeah.
to the big stores.
they were more concerned that they thought maybe they were doing something nefarious with the whole FEMA thing. But I calmed them down and told them they're probably just behind on stocking. But those are we have people out there that are watching that stuff.
Right,
It's good.
exactly.
We all have to talk to each other and make sure we all know what's going on, because it's all the little pieces that when they fit together make a much bigger picture.
Exactly.
So I will break down a little bit of what will happen. So the big they're called anchor stores. If you've never heard of that term, it's the main store in either like a grocery market or the mall, like JCPenney's, Macy's, Sears, just the big name stores. They're the ones that will keep the mall rent for the property owner. The little stores that are in there, they rely on that foot traffic from the big store to actually get sales, or if people just like the store, they'll go to it. But other than that, if the foot traffic dies off, the little stores will get less revenue. They won't make their rent or make their profit, so they'll take a dive. The small stores will file out. They'll get out slowly, and then the mall will just be a big empty place. And then the realty company that owns the mall property will start losing money, and then they'll try to sell that.
Well, we've seen it happen here. I mean, a bunch of years ago, Smith's Food King was the anchor retailer or the anchor grocery store in all the
Right.
little strip malls, and they were leasing their stores. And then when they literally move across the street into their own building, I think this was back in the early '90s, late '80s, when they moved across the street into their own store, the mall or the strip mall they left virtually died because nobody would go there anymore. I mean,
There's no reason to.
those larger retailers or grocery stores are, like you said, what bring the foot traffic in.
Right.
I mean, if you go to Smith's Food King, I use that for anybody who doesn't know, that's one of the local chains here in Las Vegas. If you go into the grocery store, and then you're like next to a post office place,
You want to turn that a little bit so you can see more of your face.
so that you'll see I could get some stamps, or I could go to here, I got to get some wrapping paper.
Right.
That's what keeps that little mom and pop or small chain store alive. So it's going to happen more and more. We're going to see more and more of that. The larger malls, like I said, that presents a giant problem for them, because once Macy's, Penny's, Target, when they decide it's profitable for them to go somewhere else or to close, that mall will become a ghost town.
Right.
Because I'm not going all the way to the mall
Just to go shop at one place.
to go stop by things remembered and look at stuff I might want to engrave or whatever might be there. Hallmark. I'm not going to go there for Hallmark. I go there for Target. I go there for Walmart or whatever the
main store is.
The main store. The rest is what I think that's my impulse shopping.
When you're walking from big store to big store and you just look by,
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
that's what attracts the people. But if you're not window shopping anymore,
You're
What's
not
the
here.
point? Right.
I can window shop right here on my computer.
yeah, Amazon even recommends stuff for you.
With their algorithms. I know, I love it.
All right,
Yeah, you
this is what you've been looking at. Oh, here's a whole
yes.
bunch
I
more.
looked at something the other day, and the next thing I'm like, wow, they're sending me more pictures of it. I almost bought something.
It's amazing. All right, so let's shift gears into what I think is pretty big news. Currently, is the Vault 7 leak. For those who don't know about Vault 7, it's a new WikiLeaks dump from the CIA. So, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands.
Who was it from?
Well, it's not from the Russians, I'll tell you that much. As the
But they're going to
DNC.
blame the Russians. They've already started the blame.
It's already started.
Well, it started already,
Everything has to do
but
with
that
blame.
narrative is worn out. You know what I'm saying? Because now within the leaks themselves prove without a doubt, saying that the CIA is able to pretty much make it look like the Russians have done it, even though
Can you
it's
close that,
our own CIA.
Peter?
So
Yeah, they actually said they left little pieces of what is it called, script
script.
of in Russian.
Right.
But that should be too easy. If I was a hacker, if I was a Russian hacker, the last thing I do is leave Russian in my code.
Right.
But that's how they did it. So the CIA has been the one that's been
They're behind everything.
They've been hacking things and blaming it on others. And this whole Russia thing, I thought by now it'd be over. They would die out, but they're just blaming Russia for everything.
But now it's proven, George, without a doubt, that it wasn't never the Russians, and its own are the patriots that are still left within the CIA, FBI are the ones who ultimately leaked all this. You know, they're the ones who say, hey, look, we had enough. The people should know about this, and went to WikiLeaks.
Well, it even came out a little bit before where they were like it was an internal leak. It wasn't never Russians.
Well, I
Right.
guarantee there's a serious mole hunt going on.
Oh, and there was it CNN?
They said it was worse than Edward Snowden. Is
Yeah.
what they quoted.
Wow.
They have over 8,000 documents that were leaked over the last week, this weekend, pretty much.
And where can you find all this?
WikiLeaks, WikiLeaks.org. I recommend everybody, just at least the press release that came out Tuesday, the 7th, and it said codenamed The Vault by WikiLeaks, the largest publication of confidential documents on the agency, which is the CIA. It goes into targeting French political parties, which we see with Le Pen. Happening, how they're targeting her and trying to ultimately put her in prison for her quote-unquote speech, which is just normal speech by anybody, even though they don't have the same rules that protects us, that protects them. So it's also been, what we talked about in one of our first shows, Lance, that it is confirmed that the NSA is spying on you,
Well,
That's a big thing, the smart TVs. They're actually watching you, folks. It's not a conspiracy anymore.
well, no, they've always said that they had it's not said. It's always been rumored that they had ways through. They went and approached these companies when they were producing the software and said, "Leave us back doors so that we can get in." Now, if you have a smart TV with a camera in it or a microphone, or if you're on Skype, your Xbox, PS4.
Who knows if those smart TVs have an installed microphone or whatever in it?
Well, with Samsung, it's actually in their terms and agreements.
Samsung also is part. They said it's with Samsung that they can insert a code that will when your TV is off, the light. You know how the light comes on? They'll turn that light on. The light is off, so you think your TV's off, or the phone. They can look through your TV,
right,
and you think it's off. All the indications that you see says it's off.
Exactly.
It's on. Now, as a humorous part of this, who really wants to look into people's living rooms? The things these agents must see.
Well,
but they shouldn't be able to see it. But it's got to be. It's a harrowing job. It's got to be.
Well, it's. They want to know what's going on in people's lives all day, every day, no matter what it is. You could be sitting on your couch watching Looney Tunes or something. I don't know.
I don't know why. I mean, Facebook will tell you everything most people are doing.
Well, yeah,
but now they want to see what you're doing.
That's another way. You put all your information on Facebook, your birthday, your name, where you live, everything else, and it's the perfect tool.
Yeah,
you know?
but people do tend to tell everybody what they're doing. I stopped at Burger King for a hamburger, and then
then take a
post
picture.
take a picture and post on Facebook. Well, if I was, you know, plus, you know, your phone's already got.
It's
enough,
recording us anyway.
Yeah, there are half a dozen microphones in this room. They can listen to us at
Oh,
home.
right, exactly. And the big thing that we talked about during our first video last year, and I've been saying this to everybody 5 years ago, if not more, you know, before we did the video last year, they have a huge, basically, data dump facility in Utah.
Yes, it's a huge facility in Utah.
Right. And it just sits there and collects.
Well, if they want, they can look back on the Facebook
Right,
page
exactly.
and go back to the NSA talk.
Right, exactly. Which is you can go on our website as well, thestandshow.com. We'll have the live feed on there as well. So in case people don't want to go on Facebook and want to tell them about us, tell them to direct them to our website. So,
but you know, a little bit back to that. You know, like the Xbox. That's how, and I know why they kind of look at it, because terrorists have used Xbox internet voice to talk to each other.
And PlayStation 4 network.
I don't know all about those console games, but I know several of them have the ability for them. If you're online, you can talk to your friend.
Wherever they are. Yeah.
So, yeah, if a terrorist in one country needs to communicate with a terrorist in another country, they get on and pretend they're playing Dora the Explorer and they talk to each other.
right.
You know?
I mean, there is bad stuff going on. Don't get me wrong, but
There's a part of me that thinks they should monitor something, but I don't want them looking in
blanket
Exactly.
everybody. You know, if you have suspicion about somebody and you fit a certain, you know, profile.
Just say it.
You know,
I have no problem with it.
But you have to profile people. That's the only way you can actually get to what you need to get to.
The CIA and NSA have already profiled pretty much everybody.
Well, that's the
That's
thing,
true.
you know. And one thing that Trump did that no one talks about, again, in the mainstream media, he takes the veterans off the top 10 endangered people, not endangered people, but the top 10 dangerous people in America, you know. We were for...
What's her name? Janet, was it Napolitano?
Yes.
She said that we should keep an eye on veterans because they are a possible terrorist threat. Veterans!
Yeah, the
Possible
ones who
terrorist-
protected this country.
I guess they're
You
only
know?
a terrorist threat to the liberals.
Well, exactly, because
That
we
makes
know
sense.
we know how
To them
to
it made
handle
sense.
ourselves.
Yeah,
Yes.
to them it made sense.
Because we know how to get off the grid. We know how to protect. You know, take care of ourselves pretty much, and they don't like that. You know, they don't want everybody sucking off the tit of the city. So it is what it is.
Well, the other thing is, what I was going to say was about. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Anyways, everybody is just all for all the conspiracy theorists that are out there, and you know, you're vindicated. You know, you're actually this proves everything that you know you've been quote conspiracizing about for all these years. You know,
Yeah, for everybody, and I had a crazy uncle who used to say they're watching us, they're recording our phone conversations. We used to think he was nuts. He might have been ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
He might have been right. Maybe they have been and will continue to watch us. I mean, there's always going to be some surveillance of the population.
Oh,
That's
exactly.
That's what I meant. Wanted to remember. You reminded me of was the probable cause thing. Yes, I want them to be able to go and search somebody if they have probable cause. But they went and got a FISA. They tried to do
yes,
a
the FISA courts.
FISA court warrant to investigate Trump and his campaign over this Russian thing. They couldn't get it, so I think they did it anyway.
Right.
And then he said they've tapped my phones. It all fits together. I'm sorry. I think they tapped his phones. I would bet my life that they tapped him, investigated him, and didn't tell anybody. Because the previous administration is not lawful.
No, at all. And the beautiful thing about Trump, I don't know if this guy does it by mistake or he is just that genius, you know?
I think he's crazy like a fox.
I think so too. Because there's no way, and what we discussed last week, you know, is he baits the media. And, you know, one Twitter thing, the Biden administration, you know.
Well, he's kind of thrown him off the scent, and we're no longer.
I'm telling you, and all of a sudden, boom! This comes out. What 3 days after? You know, I'm telling you, man. This guy's IQ must be phenomenal.
Another thing that he wanted to do with that was to get head down because the media was just bashing his guys
he got them off
over
the scent.
and over and over, and then he threw that out, and they're like, oh. Right
he
over
baits
just
them.
our-
They do follow the shiny object, don't they?
They absolutely do.
So and he's figured that out. So he's like, here's another piece of red meat. Go chase that for a while. I got work to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So they all went did.
But what a coincidence! What a coincidence! You know, it's just he says that this comes out.
Well, here's the thing. One of the things that have always bothered me about the way the media works is they wanted to investigate Trump's Russian connection because it wasn't about the evidence; it was about the seriousness of the charge.
Right.
Okay, there's no evidence to back any of it up, but the charge is so serious we have to investigate. Well, Trump comes out and says Obama tapped my phone, and they're like, "Well, you don't have any evidence. We don't want to follow that."
This is evidence.
Well,
the Vault 7 proves, you know, that they're watching senators, congressmen.
they watch everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
And but my point is that the media is so blatantly double standard now that they say, well, the seriousness of this charge requires that we dig and find evidence. There was actually reporters that came out and said because of what Trump said about being tapped, they said we have to go out and find things to prove him wrong.
Right.
So
And
they are a fifth column in this little struggle that we're having, as far as I'm concerned.
The mainstream media is really truly the enemy of the people.
They're definitely not the friend of the people.
They're enemy
definitely,
of the people.
They're definitely the journalistic arm of the Democratic Party. But if, the fifth column, if anybody doesn't know, that's referring to a city under siege, and the citizens inside the city are helping the combatants on the outside. And I can't remember the name of the general, but he said he was approaching with 4 columns of troops. And he says the people inside, they'll be like our fifth column.
Right.
And so that's where it comes from. But yes, the liberal media is definitely the fifth column for the Democratic Party. They are constantly shaping the tone, the narrative. Mm-hmm. They decide what they think we should know.
Well, what the hell? Was it Cup of Joe 2 weeks ago? We even discussed it. We decide what the people.
Morning
think.
Joe. Morning Joe.
Joe.
She says Trump is crafting a narrative and trying to tell the people what they should think, and she said that's our job.
That's our job. Yeah, get the hell out of here. Anyways, any comments, Lance?
No.
All right. Well, anyways, folks, support Donald Trump, your president. I mean, he needs your help more than ever.
They've been talking about impeaching him already. Constantly.
Right. They were talking about impeaching him before he swore in.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, support him, support our president, support us. Share this link, blast it out to everybody. Also go on our website, thestandshow.com. Blast that link out to everybody. Get it out to everybody. That's the only way we're going to grow and get this show back on track, get back on the radio, and then also grow from there, reach thousands of people, hopefully. Anyways, moving on.
Well, I got some stuff that's a little bit lighter. I know if any of you have been paying attention in the past or listened to me, I love to bring up the fake hate crimes that the left always pull. We've got yet a report of another one. This one is from Heat Street by Emily Zantati. The second University of Michigan student has admitted to
I love how you infiltrated the left news articles.
This is hey, they printed. I'll read it. A University of Michigan student has admitted to fabricating a hate crime committed in the wake of Donald Trump's election. Haley Bass pleaded guilty Monday to filing a false police report alleging that an unknown attacker had approached her in her downtown Ann Arbor, Michigan, and had scratched her face because she had a solitary pin on her lapel. You know, the safety pin.
Safety pin, right.
That's to hold up your diaper, really. Worn as a sign that she was a welcoming figure for those who felt marginalized by Donald Trump's victory. Bass told the judge that she was suffering from depression at the time and had scratched her own face with the safety pin after a woman's literature class. She said she put a superficial scratch on her face. It was visible and she was embarrassed. What could she do? So a friend and her made up a story about a stranger stalking her and attacking her. There's been a surge of these. She faces $500 fine and a couple days in jail. It's 90 days and 500. So, but that's what I could say about that. Another one that's on the trash heap of stupidity. Another one. This is a little bit more serious, but it's just another bit of it's appalling. This is by William Hicks, also from Street Heat. The Palestinian Authority has picked a very bad name for a summer camp in the West Bank. A child's summer camp.
Right.
Named after the brothers of Da'al. The youth camp was named after a local heroine, sorry, I cannot pronounce these names. Give that one a try.
Mughrabi.
Mughrabi, who led the 1978 hijacking of an Israeli bus which killed 37 people and 12 of them were children. Okay, that's like
camp to name after.
What a nice guy.
Children's summer camp named after a terrorist who killed children. So these are people we should try to coexist with.
They're loving.
Completely. The joke in
So
this,
loving they'll kill you.
I love you to death. The little joke in this article I found that was very humorous. It says it would be like naming a preschool, or I'm sorry, like naming a urgent care after Dr. Kevorkian. So done with them too. Okay, this is one we're all gonna like because I'm gonna track this guy down and see if you can get him on the show. I don't know the Antifa, the Marxists, whoever they are. They have found their worst enemy in Base Stick Man. Kyle Chaplin of California, a California native and an alt-right hero famous for fighting leftists and other agitators at pro-Trump rallies in Berkeley on March 4th, wearing a helmet, gas mask, knee pads, heavy clothing, Chapman joined his fellow Golden State freedom lovers with a Captain American-esque shield and a large stick to fight back against the Black Bloc horde. Following his intervention, the masked labor union sympathizing Pinkos retreated, giving America one of its greatest victories since Guadalcanal. You gotta look this stuff up. This little guy.
What sites are you looking at to find these things?
So this one's Heat Street. It's full of culture war stuff.
Heat Streak?
Heat Street. Street Heat.
What?
Street Heat. Sorry,
Street
I don't have it
Heat.
down here. Street
Okay.
Heat. Yeah, he's decided he's not gonna take it anymore. He got himself a shield, put a little star on it, got him a stick, and he chases back riders at these little events. If more people did that, less of them would do it.
Right, exactly.
So, that's a little levity, but still with a bit of a patriotic bend to it.
All right, well, I got one last article, and that is why the MSM ignoring Trump's sex trafficking bust. Now, last year, last year, the government as a whole captured 400 sex trafficking related arrests in 2014. Within 1 month, what he has done is 1,500 busts on pedophiles just in 1 month alone. It dwarfs anything that any time within the last 2 years even as a combined total. So the sex rings and the pedophiles are all being rounded up, and this is why everybody wants to attack Trump, because at the very top, as the article keeps going on, they have people who empower are the big pedophiles.
Hollywood.
Right. Hollywood. We talked about this a couple shows ago. Hollywood, you have...
a couple shows ago? We talked about this a while ago.
At some point in time.
Some point in time on the show notes. Anyways... What I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, the sex rings are real, and the mainstream media won't even touch it because this is why they don't want Trump. At the very core and base, because they have all these creepoids at the top that don't want to get busted. And, they jail these kids in the basement and everything else.
Well, it's been a long-held belief that the more powerful the individual, the more perverse his appetites.
Right.
Because they can have whatever they want, so they look for things that normal people can't have. I read a book back in the late 70s about the habits of congressmen, and it was written by a woman who had been a madam and a call girl back east around the D.C. area. And I can't even tell you some of the things that she explained in that book, but they were obscene, but weirdly humorous from a very obscene point of view. Just some of the things that they like. I can't even. But they're just, like I said. The more wealthy the individual, the more that they're allowed to get away with, the more they seek.
Right.
So, and this is the most disgusting thing possible. And if they're found out, they should be just dragged out in the street and beaten to a pulp.
They should be killed on spot. I really don't want to say kill people and stuff like that.
Still need a little due process, but it should be much faster and much more swift.
Because this is disgusting. I got kids of my own. You have kids, and for just to think about my kids getting snatched out of the backyard where they're playing or at school or anything else like that, and then put in these prostitution rings, or even worse, being jailed, for pretty much their entire lives until who knows what, they will want to get dispose of their body.
Me and you get to see it pretty much on a daily basis.
Yeah, I know, and it's disgusting because these kids grow up into it, and then that's all they know pretty much the rest of their lives.
They can't get out of it.
They can't get out of it. It's human trafficking at its worst, and to take the innocence out of these children, twist their souls, it is just horrible.
And what did Cali do just not too long ago?
They made it legal for child prostitution, pretty much.
Well, they took away the penalties of.
Well, they decriminalized what they considered the victim of child sex trafficking, which, to some regard, if you've got a minor under 13 involved in something, it's not their fault.
Right, it's
Before
not their fault.
It used to be that they used to
pin it on the people.
Well, they
kids.
used to. Yeah, I mean, no, only a maniac would charge a minor.
Right.
But that's all California is made of, almost. They're politicians.
Yeah. California they really should succeed from the union. I'd actually sign that petition.
So, this should be getting huge traffic, and it's not, They're not even going to touch it. Because, they're going...
Well, they don't want to talk about it. It's human trafficking. When is that going to ever hit the major news?
Well, that's the problem. It needs to.
Well, again, you have to look at who's running the news. The news determines the narrative. They're the ones who decide what happens. And we can show 1,000 examples of how they decide what we should know.
Right, exactly. It's just disgusting. There's a couple of dates on here. 100 people were arrested from January 8th to the 5th. In Illinois, you have a statewide California human trafficking operation. You got Tennessee in here, Texas. You have Michigan. You have Virginia. So they're just going pretty much state by state. It's only a matter of time before
busting rings.
I guarantee Las Vegas will be the number one. Yeah, number one sex rings.
If
whatever.
not, it'll probably be top 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's nothing to be proud of.
It's not to be proud of, but it needs to happen.
I mean, do you want to say what our...
No.
No, okay.
No. But anyways, look into this article, folks. Look into all the stuff we've been talking about.
Never take our word for it.
Right. Because, we're just 3 guys telling you the news.
Well, where were you reading this from?
This is from townhall.com. And the article is Why the MSM, mainstream media, is ignoring Trump's sex trafficking bust. And so...
and the articles that I referenced from were both from Zero Hedge.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course mine is
Street Heat.
I'm trying to look up and get it exactly right, but I go there all the time. I find it very entertaining because it's a little light, it's a little humorous. I'm not pitching them or trying to promote them, but it's just they have just category. They got culture wars, they have politics, tech. They're small, but I enjoy their stuff. I like the way their articles are written. It's not too in depth, and it doesn't make you don't feel like your head's going to hurt. But it seems good.
Zero Hedge, that site is more of a... It goes through the basic main events in the world that are going on, and then does a whole bunch of They keep it anonymous for all the posters. Every poster on there is Tyler Durden, if you know who that is.
Yes, I do.
Fight Club.
Yeah, because he's an anonymous guy.
I can't tell you about Fight Club.
Yeah, so they keep all the posts. They're created by Tyler Durden. But they go over like the analysis and more statistics of all of what's happening. So they do a lot of number crunching on that site, and that's why I like that site.
Right. Well, you're the numbers guy. So yeah. Again, those are great sites, but our site's even better. Go to thestandshow.com and blast that out to everybody. Like I said, we're also on Facebook, as you all know. So share this link, folks. Share this link. Share this link. Share this link.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going to be having some merchandise pretty soon up on our website. Like I said a while ago, we are getting those shirts in. We're going to get a lot more flags in, so you can purchase that, and we're getting a lot more cool things in. So hopefully you stay tuned, purchase products to support this broadcast. And we are viewer supported, and without you, we couldn't be doing this here. So. again, take the stand for liberty, ladies and gentlemen. Without you, we can't do this. So,
Good night,
bless
ladies and
you.
gentlemen. We'll see you next week, same time.
all right. God bless you, and always God bless America.